everyone, welcome to The Real Story. I'm Gretchen Carlson.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson.
Resurrected this issue and actually got the president himself.
For decades, Fox News stood as the voice of conservative America, polished, powerful, and seemingly unshakable. Its anchors were icons, trusted by millions who believed they were watching truth wrapped in patriotism. The network sold family values and moral clarity. And for a while, the illusion held. But behind the lights and slogans was a darker reality. A culture built on silence, fear, and secret settlements. The same network that preached integrity was quietly protecting predators and punishing those who spoke out. These Fox News anchors had it all: fame, fortune, power, until one by one, they fell. Scandals erupted, lawsuits followed, and the empire's perfect facade began to crack. In today's video, we'll uncover 4 Fox News anchors who have been fired, and the shocking scandals that brought their careers to an end. Tucker Carlson, once the most powerful face of conservative television, built an empire from outrage. His show Tucker Carlson Tonight wasn't just a hit. It was a nightly ritual for nearly 3 million Americans, a blend of fury, wit, and fire that dominated Fox News' prime-time slot. To his followers, Tucker was fearless, the man who said what others wouldn't. To his critics, he was a provocateur hiding behind patriotism. But in April 2023, that voice abruptly vanished. No farewell, no warning, just a single corporate sentence from Fox News. We thank him for his service. Behind that sterile line was chaos. Carlson had been Fox's golden ticket for years, driving ratings, shaping conversations, and influencing policy debates far beyond television. Yet inside the network, he had become a problem too big to contain. The Dominion voting system's defamation lawsuit, which cost Fox a staggering $787.5 million, revealed something devastating: Tucker's own private text messages. Hidden in court documents were pages of conversations that contradicted everything he'd said on air. He mocked Fox executives, insulted colleagues, and wrote that he hated Trump passionately, even as he publicly defended him. In one message, he described watching Trump supporters attack an Antifa protester and wrote, "Jumping a guy like that is dishonorable. It's not how white men fight." Those words, raw, racist, and cynical, stripped away the last of his credibility. But the texts were just one piece of a deeper rot. His former producer, Abby Grossberg, filed a lawsuit describing the show's newsroom as a misogynistic frat house. She claimed male staffers pinned up provocative photos of Nancy Pelosi, joked about women's bodies, and routinely excluded female employees from key meetings. When she complained, a supervisor allegedly told her, "That's Tucker's tone, or that's just how it goes." What had once been the network's most lucrative show was now a legal and reputational minefield. Advertisers were pulling out, lawsuits were piling up. Even Tucker's own colleagues described him as a man who thought he was above the network. The image of moral authority crumbled into something grotesque, a show that thrived on outrage outside while breeding it inside. Fox had spent years selling Tucker as a man of conviction, a patriot standing against corruption. Now those very words echoed back like an indictment. So Fox pulled the plug suddenly, quietly, without explanation. In a single day, one of the most watched voices in America was erased. Within hours, Fox's market value dropped by nearly $1 billion. Tucker went dark for a few weeks before reappearing online, claiming he had been freed from corporate control. Yet behind the bravado lay an unmistakable truth. His firing wasn't about one message, one scandal, or one bad day. It was about years of unchecked ego, lawsuits, and corporate fear finally converging. The Fox News anchor was fired after this, and his fall sent shockwaves across the media world. But Tucker Carlson's exit was only the beginning, because not long before him, another Carlson, Gretchen Carlson, had exposed the darkness inside Fox News itself, and her story would shake the empire from the top down. Gretchen Carlson wasn't just another TV personality. She was one of the faces that built Fox News. A former Miss America turned journalist, Gretchen joined the network in 2005 and quickly rose through the ranks. She co-hosted Fox and Friends, the cheerful, fast-paced morning show that helped shape conservative America's mood before breakfast. With her crisp delivery, quick wit, and relentless professionalism, she embodied what Fox wanted its female anchors to be: confident, composed, and camera-ready. But behind the smiles and bright studio lights, Gretchen's experience at Fox was anything but glossy. For more than a decade, she played by the rules, climbed the ladder, and earned her own show, The Real Story with Gretchen Carlson. Ratings were strong, her interviews sharp, and her reputation clean. But in July 2016, that story abruptly ended. Gretchen was fired without warning, her contract suddenly terminated. The official explanation was vague. A programming decision. Yet whispers spread fast. Why would a steady performer with solid numbers be cut so suddenly? A week later, the answer came. Not in a headline of triumph, but one of pain. Gretchen Carlson filed a lawsuit against Roger Ailes, the most powerful man in the building, the founder, the kingmaker, the untouchable. She accused him of sexual harassment, retaliation, and wrongful termination. And in doing so, she did what no one before her had dared to do. She named the monster. In her complaint, Gretchen described moments that still sting to read. Ailes allegedly asked her to turn around so I can get a good look at you. He commented on her legs, her figure, her attitude. Once, he told her, if you and I had a sexual relationship, we'd both be good and better. When she rejected him, he punished her in ways that weren't visible to the audience, but that she felt every day. Fewer interviews, lost airtime, a salary frozen in place while younger, less experienced men leapt ahead. What looked like success from the outside was, on the inside, a quiet campaign of humiliation. Fox executives claimed she was fired due to poor ratings, but the numbers told another story. The real story had been growing every year, even in a weak time slot. To Gretchen, this wasn't a coincidence. It was punishment, and she wasn't alone. Once her lawsuit became public, more women inside Fox began to speak out, echoing her accusations in shocking detail. Anchors, producers, assistants, all describing the same pattern, the same man, the same fear, the same silence. The Fox News anchor was fired after this. But in standing up, Gretchen ignited something bigger than television. Her lawsuit tore open a culture of harassment that had festered for years inside Fox. Within weeks, the network's empire began to crack. Roger Ailes, once untouchable, resigned under pressure. Soon after, the New York Times revealed that another Fox titan, Bill O'Reilly, had also paid millions to settle similar claims. In September 2016, Fox News reached a historic settlement with Gretchen Carlson, $20 million, and a rare public apology. We sincerely regret and apologize for the fact that Gretchen was not treated with the respect and dignity she and all our colleagues deserve, the network wrote. For corporate America, it was a moment of reckoning. For Gretchen, it was vindication, but also exile. She never returned to Fox, yet her fall reshaped the industry. Gretchen became a leading voice for workplace justice, pushing for laws that banned forced arbitration, the same legal trap Fox used to silence victims. And as one Carlson fell, another would soon follow, because years later, another powerful Fox News anchor, this time Tucker Carlson, would also find himself out of a job, swept away by a different kind of scandal. The names were different, but the pattern was the same: power, denial, and a network that always seemed to protect itself first. But Gretchen Carlson wasn't the only woman to pay the price for saying no to Roger Ailes. Andrea Tantaros was supposed to be one of Fox News' great success stories. Sharp, articulate, and unflinchingly loyal to the network's fiery brand of television. A former political strategist turned commentator, she was quick-witted, magnetic, and camera-ready. The kind of presence executives loved. On the five and later outnumbered, she embodied everything Fox prized in its on-air personalities. Bold, glamorous, and confident enough to spar with anyone. She looked like the future of the network, but behind that polished delivery was a different story, one that unfolded in whispers, sideways glances, and quiet fear. By early 2016, Andrea was at her peak, appearing daily, pulling in solid ratings, building a loyal audience. Then, almost overnight, she vanished. No farewell show, no explanation, just an empty seat and corporate silence. Viewers flooded social media with confusion. Where's Andrea? Fox's answer was chillingly bland. She'd been pulled off the air for contract violations. But inside the building, everyone already knew what that phrase really meant. A few months later, the truth surfaced. Andrea Tantaros filed a lawsuit, not just against Roger Ailes, but against several senior Fox executives, including Bill Shine, Irina Briganti, and Suzanne Scott, names that still ran the company. Her accusations echoed the pattern Gretchen Carlson had already exposed. Ailes allegedly made sexual remarks, asking her to turn around so I can get a good look at you. He questioned her about her private life, when she'd marry, whether she'd have children, and pressured her to wear shorter skirts and tighter dresses. When she resisted, her career began to wither. She was quietly demoted from The Five, one of Fox's most watched shows, to Outnumbered, a lower-profile midday slot. Soon after, she was gone completely. The Fox News anchor was fired after this. But according to Andrea, her real offense wasn't breaching a contract. It was daring to speak up. In her lawsuit, she described Fox News as a Playboy Mansion-like cult, where women were expected to serve the male gaze to keep their jobs. She claimed that HR buried complaints, emails vanished without trace, and anyone who challenged the system was labeled difficult. When she refused to play along, the network retaliated. Fox countered with its own narrative, that Andrea had violated her contract by publishing her book, Tied Up in Knots: How Getting What We Wanted Made Women Miserable, without corporate approval. They even pointed to the book's cover, Andrea's arms tied above her head, as proof she had embarrassed the company. To outsiders, it looked like a professional dispute. To insiders, it felt like a purge. Andrea's removal came just months after Gretchen Carlson's landmark lawsuit had forced Roger Ailes to resign. Fox was in damage control mode, desperate to protect its image. The women who spoke up were treated not as whistleblowers, but as threats. Andrea's case was quietly pushed into private arbitration, the same legal mechanism Fox used to silence other victims. Her voice, like so many before her, was buried behind confidentiality clauses and closed doors. Yet even in silence, her story spoke volumes. Andrea's claims mirrored the same script playing out across years of Fox's history. The same man, the same words, the same retaliation. She became one more name in a growing chorus of women whose stories aligned too perfectly to dismiss. The Fox News anchor was fired after this, but her fall proved something larger, that Gretchen Carlson hadn't uncovered a single scandal, but a system. Andrea's firing showed that the problem wasn't one man's abuse of power. It was an entire culture built to protect him. And tragically, the story didn't start with them. Long before Gretchen or Andrea ever walked through Fox's glass doors, another woman, Rudy Baktiar, had already lived through the same nightmare. Her story would show that this wasn't a moment of moral failure at Fox News. It was its foundation. Rudy Baktiar was supposed to be one of Fox News' proud success stories, a polished, multilingual journalist with the kind of credibility the network often claimed to value. Before Fox, she had already built a strong reputation at CNN, reporting fearlessly from war zones, covering international summits, and handling the chaos of breaking news with grace and precision. When Fox brought her on in 2006 as an international correspondent, it looked like a perfect match. Experience meets opportunity. But within a year, that promise was gone. Not because Rudy failed, but because Fox News did. At first, she thrived. Rudy covered high-stakes events, the Iran-Iraq summit, the execution of Saddam Hussein, and major diplomatic meetings in Washington. She was exactly the kind of journalist a serious network should celebrate. Yet inside Fox's Washington bureau, she began to see what the audience never did: a culture that prized image over integrity, submission over skill, and silence over truth. It wasn't journalism that mattered most. It was how you looked while doing it. The shift started quietly, almost imperceptibly. A comment about her legs, a suggestion about wearing shorter skirts, an insinuation that charm mattered more than clarity. Then it turned into something unmistakable. According to Rudy, Brian Wilson, the Washington bureau chief, took an inappropriate interest in her, blurring every professional boundary. He allegedly hinted that her career could go further if she were friendly, asked to see her hotel room, and made suggestive remarks that left no room for misinterpretation. Rudy refused. Within weeks, her assignments changed. The serious stories disappeared, replaced with tabloid fluff, celebrity gossip, and segments no real correspondent wanted. It was humiliation disguised as management. When she finally spoke up, turning to human resources for help, Fox acted, just not in the way any ethical organization should. Within days, she was gone. The official reason? Performance issues. As if the woman who once covered war crimes had suddenly forgotten how to write a story. Behind closed doors, Rudy filed a formal complaint. alleging sexual harassment, retaliation, and wrongful termination. The case went to confidential mediation, where a neutral mediator ruled in her favor. Fox News agreed to pay her $670,000, the remainder of her contract and her legal fees, but on one condition: silence. No interviews, no public statements, no truth. The Fox News anchor was fired after this. But for nearly a decade, the public never knew why. Her career, once international and respected, collapsed into quiet freelance gigs and off-camera work. Meanwhile, the men she accused stayed in their positions, climbing higher, protected by the same machine that had buried her. And that's the story Fox didn't want the world to see. Rudy's case wasn't an exception. It was a template. The network's unspoken system was brutally efficient. Deny, pay, silence, repeat. Behind its glossy patriotism and moral posturing was a corporate machine built on fear and compliance, one that treated women as disposable when they although they refused to play along. Every scandal was contained not by accountability, but by arbitration agreements, NDAs, and checks written quietly in conference rooms far from the cameras. Rudy Baktiar's fall came long before the headlines that would later engulf Fox, before Gretchen Carlson, before Andrea Tantaros, yet her story revealed what those later lawsuits confirmed: that the network's so-called culture of family values was a lie polished for ratings. What Fox sold to America, strength, integrity, truth, it denied to the very people who worked beneath its roof. The Fox News anchor was fired after this, and Rudy's silencing became a playbook for an empire built on exploitation. She wasn't a celebrity like Gretchen or Tucker. She was something rarer, a proof. Proof that Fox News didn't merely protect predators, it enabled them, year after year, paycheck after paycheck. And so, behind the polished screens and patriotic slogans, Fox News revealed its truest story. Not of power, but of consequence. One by one, its brightest stars fell, leaving behind a trail of silence, lawsuits, and broken trust. Because in the end, no empire built on fear and denial can last forever. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories behind the headlines.